Hi, thanks for tuning into the ACo Love Where You Live series. My name is Mia Farrell. I'm a designer at ACo, and I'm joined today by Bill Cundiff, project manager, and we are almost to the finish line at this kitchen. And we're going to talk a little bit today about what that process looks like as we get to the end when we hold our substantial completion meeting, and some of the things that happen during that meeting and some of the things that we're looking for.
Substantial completion meeting. It's a term that we use a lot in construction, but a lot of our homeowners have never heard it before.
Sure.
Basically, it means that we have completed the installation of all the things in our contract. Now, we might be missing a replacement part, or we might need to do some adjustments, but the idea is that we have completed all the major phases of the items in our scope. And so at the beginning of the project, when we write our schedule, we're basically using that contract, using that document as a guide for what we need to do and in what order, and we set up this critical path to get all of these steps completed. And then when we're done, there's always small adjustments that need to be done. But we need something to organize those around.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing at our substantial completion meeting is putting together a punch list that can get all of that condensed into one final list. And it's not an escape clause for us. Like we have, we'll always come back and fix things.
We're not trying to run away.
But what we want to do is we want to say, okay, well, I have 5 things that can be done by this guy, and I have 3 things that can be done by this other guy. And now we have this organized way to close everything out in an orderly fashion.
Yeah, because like you said, there can be some small things, right? Like whether it's paint touch-up or some troubleshooting of a part or something like that needs to happen. And it's just a matter of really figuring out the finish line and how we're going to get there.
Sure.
And I think that from, a homeowner perspective, there can be some fear when they see some of those things like, oh, I see a spot of paint, and are they going to get to that? When's it going to get done?
Right.
And so this meeting is really an opportunity for us to say, okay, here's all the things that are on your list, whether it's blue tape on something or, something like that we've known about that we need to make sure is done.
Right. Yeah, there's always, like adjusting cabinet doors is the perennial example of that.
Right.
It's like these 2 doors don't line up, and they've been that way for a couple of weeks. It's always on our punch list to get that done. Yeah. And the whole idea is that we send a guy out here and he has this whole list of things to do instead of like driving across town to do this one little thing and then jet.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. A little bit more formal of a way of getting that information totally complete.
Right.
And I know that through the process too, it can be overwhelming to have all of those things on the list. And it's, from a homeowner's perspective, they might be keeping a tally. I always tell people, if you see things like that, keep your list. We'll compare notes at the meeting.
And we're keeping a list as it goes through as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And as often as I can just pop in and take care of one of those things, I do. Sometimes we come to the end of a job and we have 13 things to do. Sometimes we get to the end and we have 2 things to do. So it just varies.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about what that looks like when we get that list together and we have that final formal punch list. We are going to collect a payment at that point. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the way that works is we put together our list. The salesperson, homeowner, project manager all get together on that, agree that we've got everything captured. We've walked through the space. We look at every little thing. Then project manager assigns a value to each one of those items, and we all agree on those things. We take that total amount, then we double it. We subtract that from the balance due on the project, and then the homeowners keep that amount as their leverage.
Sure.
As if that's the reason we're coming back.
Right.
But it makes people feel better.
Yeah.
We're always going to come back.
Yeah, I've heard you say before, I don't need that motivation to come back. I'm going to come back.
Yeah, I have like 3 bosses making me come back.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we want to get it done. But it's a peace of mind thing for sure. I've heard a lot of horror stories in my time of people that have left a project unfinished. And we want to make sure that people know that we're not going to do that.
No,
we have no
not.
intention of doing that.
No, we want to get your project done so that we can see it completed. Yeah. We want to see our homeowners happy with it being completed. Yeah. And we want to do work for you in the future. Yeah. And we want to do work for your neighbors.
Exactly.
So there's bigger reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's really nice to be able to have a process like this where we're just able to get all parties on board to kind of reconnect. The construction process can take some time too. So it's nice to just kind of get all of us together again to say, okay, let's just walk through the space and make sure we're 100% good with everything.
Right. And there's a lot of times you're on site and you're talking to homeowners, and And a lot of this information passes verbally in a less formal way throughout the project, but putting it all together in this final list helps us forestall any fear that somebody has. Oh, I think I mentioned that, but I'm not sure if they're going to do it or not. You know, it helps us make sure that everybody's confident in the finish out of the job.
Yeah, and it'll get uploaded to the website where the homeowner has access to log in and see all that information. So everything's clear. We're all on the same page with how we're getting to the finish line. Yep. So super excited to get to the finish line here.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see all of these little things come together. The space already looks so amazing. It's so different from where we started.
Absolutely.
So really excited to get there. So please tune in next time for our next episode and see how everything comes together.